The markets are open.
People always ask, well, why should I bet on Monday? Because you have the perfect number in front of you.
And the numbers are moving.
We've seen this total go from 47 to 49, 49 and a half.
Now you're getting a field goal in a game that was sit and pick 'em for so long.
Let's dive into some Monday morning market moves on BetQL Daily, presented by BetMGM.
Monday morning market moves. Let's talk about the NFL now, Sam. And we've got a strong Thursday game. NFC North, Detroit, Green Bay. So the look ahead was Detroit -6. They survive against the Chicago Bears. And you got Green Bay. They handled Miami on Thanksgiving evening. Not really much of a contest. The number comes way down from the look ahead. It goes from 6 to 3.5 across the board. High total. We're looking at 51 in the hook just about everywhere. Man, Love is not turning the ball over right now. Certainly positive sign there as far as Green Bay, but there's just something about Green Bay. I don't love them right now. I don't know. Like, what do you do? Is this Detroit as a discount, or are you thinking, hey man, it's more than a field goal and it's an NFC North matchup. These teams know each other so well, where maybe you take the dog here. What do you think?
So I'll tell you what John Murray told me on Friday. We do our content on Friday, every Friday. And, both of those teams played on Thanksgiving. So you were able to react to that right away. And they didn't put this market up until yesterday. So we're talking on Friday, and I'm asking him about Green Bay, Detroit. And the look ahead Superbook had was 5.5. Detroit -5.5 at home. And I sort of insinuated, I don't think the number is going to come that high. Because in the second half, Detroit had multiple injuries on the defensive side of the ball. That really was the catalyst for Chicago climbing back in the game. Sure, Detroit maybe went into prevent a little bit, but there were some personnel issues because they had a couple guys had to leave the game. And John said, I think we're going to reopen 3. And what do you know? Yesterday at 6:55 p.m. Eastern, they reopened Detroit -3.5. So they decided we're going to add this half point, see what happens. They were at 3 in 14 minutes. They still sit at 3. So even opening 2 points lower from 5.5 on the look ahead to 3.5 for this game on Thursday night, they took the initial push on Green Bay. So they're sitting 3 -120. MGM has 3.5 -105. So this is a 2.5 point adjustment from where the number was before Thanksgiving. That's alarming to me if I'm a Lions fan. I'm a little nervous seeing that this number has dropped, and all you did was take care of business and win on a weird holiday where weird things always happen. It does feel like a cheap 3 for Detroit. If I can lay 3, I might. I don't love Green Bay catching 3. I don't know. I might not bet the game. We've got a couple days to figure it out. But the big correction in this market, Green Bay looked awesome at home. Now you take on a Detroit defense that might not be as healthy as it was. Well, it's definitely not as healthy as it was before the season because they've lost guys like Aiden Hutchinson and other important pieces on that defense. But that's a noticeable adjustment. And you know what, Joe? The books usually don't get these adjustments wrong. Look at San Francisco, Buffalo. 3.5 to 7. Buffalo wins by 25. 5.5 to 3.5, 3. Green Bay could easily win this game outright.
Yeah, it's not just Aiden Hutchinson from earlier on in the year. It's Alex Alzoloni. There's a lot of guys. Malcolm Rodriguez injured. Wingo, defensive lineman, he's now out for the year. There's some other guys unlikely to play in this game. Certainly a cluster injury situation. But one of the reasons that the Lions are commended time and time again is what they've built, culture-wise and depth-wise. They have a lot of talent. Hutchinson showed us. That guy, it was early in the year, but on the track that he was on, he was going to be your defensive player of the year. And if he was still healthy, he'd be the runaway favorite over Watt. Runaway right now, because I don't even know that Watt should be the favorite, but he's got the name. And he's got the experience and the history and all that. And he's on a very successful defense overall. But yeah, like it does get to a point where, okay, maybe it's too far. But I had the same first thought as you. Detroit on a discount. Everybody saw the Bears almost beat them. If they have competent coaching, maybe they do. But yeah, no, this team, you can beat them. You can beat them. They only have one on the year, but you certainly can. That's going to be, we'll be following the injury report until we get to Thursday for sure. Oh, this is a brutal matchup. You do a double take when you see Tennessee Titans 2-10 against the spread. They get crushed by the Commanders yesterday, and they're laying 4.5 against Jacksonville.
Barf.
Well, now we're back. We're back up to 3.5. The start of the show, it moved to 4.5. Now we're at 3.5. Pinnacle's at 5.
Big move in the game, under. Under is the move so far. So this one reopens on the total 42. We're down to 40 at a bunch of shops. BetMGM says, all right, we'll take that 40. We'll go even lower. We'll go to 39.5 on a Monday. Jacksonville, Tennessee, total probably closes sub 40. I wouldn't bet this game with your money. It ain't happening. I don't know. I don't care. Ain't happening.
Would you bet Tampa Vegas? Tampa laying
No.
a touchdown against Vegas? Tampa was disappointing yesterday. But I guess you can look at it and say maybe Bryce Young is finally turning it around. Sometimes it takes guys with experience and the right coaching and everything looking good around him. But Bryce Young looks a lot better. But Tampa, that's a big number. And, I keep bringing this up with the Raiders. When you expect them to get blown out or them to no-show, they usually show up. So when they're getting at least a touchdown, that's when I'm always going to consider them.
I do lean Tampa. I don't really love betting it right now. There are so many things that I'm unsure about in terms of injuries going into this week. I mean, I saw a lot of guys get banged up over the weekend. So initial lean is to Tampa, but in terms of the move, there's not many moves in that game. It's sitting 7 and the total's 45. Where we do have a move, a noticeable move, is this game has gone from 5.5 on the look ahead to 3.5. And that is the LA Chargers at Kansas City Sunday night. This is now 3.5. The total has come down 1.5, 44.5 to 43. The Chargers didn't play well offensively. They did not. You and I were heads up in that game. I ended up betting some Falcons at +1. Kirk Cousins only threw 4 interceptions. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 interceptions. 2 in the red zone, including that pick 6 on 4th down that was an atrocious throw. And I had guys texting me, I told you Chargers were the right side. Okay. You won the bet. I don't think it was the right side, but right side, wrong side doesn't matter. What's in your wallet? I won the game or I did not win the game, and people had the Chargers. They got more money in their bankroll, but you're seeing some support right now Sunday night for the Chargers, knocking them down to 3.5 and the total 43. Defensively, those guys get after it. And I don't know what it is about Jim Harbaugh. That guy finds ways to just bait you into bad decisions. He is so good at that. As a former quarterback, he throws different coverages. You think they're coming from the left, they come from the right. You think they're going to blitz, they drop back. The master disguiser in terms of what defenses are showing and what they actually execute. He baited Cousins into 3 of those 4 picks yesterday. His defense did that. Tremendous job by the Bolts D.
We were heads up on Chargers Falcons. We were also heads up on Eagles Ravens. So in the end, it's just we split on that. Each of us getting to win there. The other thing was part of my handicap on the Bolts was obviously because of Harbaugh, and it was coming off a loss, and now you're going against a team where you're going to get all day to throw. Or did you? The Falcons had 5 sacks in that game. They were getting pressure on Herbert, and they still can't win the game. Terrible game out of Cousins. A lot of chatter about whether or not he's injured right now. So keep that in mind going forward.
Oh, I don't want to. That's the last thing I want to hear. I don't care how injured he is. He stunk.
Then go to Penix. If he's hurt, go to Penix.
You've got a first-round pick waiting in the wings. Go to Penix.
Yeah.
Here, I don't want to play this game because, again, it's not absolute that this should be the reason why you won or lost a game. But I'm getting mad just looking at it, so I'll just laugh. First downs, Atlanta 24.
Oh, I know.
Los Angeles 10. Total yardage, Atlanta 350. Los Angeles 187. Oh!
Yeah. Outgained him. Well, we'll get to this coming up. But there were a lot of games like this yesterday. A lot of weird results. When you look at the yardage and you look at the final score, it doesn't make any sense. Go ahead, read off, as long as you got the box score up. Who is the second leading receiver on the Chargers, and how many yards did they have?
Well, McConkey was one. Oh, my God. Are you serious? I just looked at this. McConkey caught every pass, it felt like.
Yeah.
McConkey,
awesome.
9 for 117. The second leading receiver, Quentin Johnston, 2 catches for 12 yards.
I don't remember seeing something like that. How did the Chargers win? Look at the rushers. Look at the rushers. Without Dobbins, look at what they do.
Nope. I X'd out of it. I'm over it.
Okay.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Rusher. Gus Edwards, 6 carries for 32 yards. How did they win?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Sound the alarm. Circa just moved San Francisco to -3.5.
Oh,
did something just come out about Purdy or McCaffrey or both? Nothing has hit the screen yet. But
I've seen McCaffrey's done.
Okay, so he's done for the year. I didn't know that. Chicago at San Francisco. MGM is 5.5 right now. 5.5. Circa just moved to 3.5. Buckeyes at 4. So if you have a 5.5 on Chicago, I'm going to go bet this right now. Let me see what I can bet. I'm telling you, if Circa and Buckeye are moving to 3.5 and 4, and there are 5.5s available, you should just bet that right now and figure it out later in the week.
Later. Okay.
I'm about to bet. Yeah, I have Bears plus 5.5. I'm betting it right now. I'm not kidding. I'm betting it. And then I could get off it if I have to.
You going to bet MGM still has a 5.5?
I just bet plus 5.5 right now. Circa is at 3.5. They just moved there 90 seconds ago. Something is up, and somebody knows something.
Based on the reports from last night, it was the PCL injury for Christian McCaffrey. There was a lot of speculation that he's done, but I don't know that it was official, but I don't expect him to turn around and come back this week. There's no chance. But yeah, I mean, Bosa, Trent Williams, how does Purdy look after that? And then you're probably going to get a Chicago bump. We talked about how it's a lot for Thomas Brown to be the play caller. I mean, this guy, he wasn't even the offensive coordinator a few weeks ago. Now he's the play caller and the head coach of the team. But they are mediocre coaching away from probably being a 500 team, the Bears are, right?
That's a massive move on Monday morning at 10:36 Eastern to go from 5.5 to 3.5. It's a big market move.